Golf's supposed to be calm, quiet, and classy, but these 15 moments shattered that illusion completely, from late-night car crashes, to courtroom battles, to literal fistfights on the green. Buckle up, because the sport's most outrageous scandals are coming in hot. Number 15, Tiger Woods, the Thanksgiving Meltdown. Thanksgiving night 2009, the world's calmest sport was about to witness pure chaos. At 2:30 a.m., police arrived at Tiger Woods' Florida mansion to find his SUV smashed into a fire hydrant and tree. Woods lay in the street with cuts on his face, his wife Elin nearby. It looked like a simple car accident until the truth began to leak. Just 2 days earlier, the National Enquirer had accused Woods of having an affair with a woman named Rachel Uchitel. He denied it, even having Uchitel call his wife to claim it was false. But that night, Ellen found the proof: romantic texts on Tiger's phone. A confrontation followed. Woods fled in his SUV. Moments later, he crashed. The story exploded overnight. What began as a fender bender became the spark that burned down golf's cleanest image. One by one, 14 women came forward. Sponsors vanished. Gatorade, AT&T, Accenture, all gone. Only Nike stayed. Tiger Woods slammed straight into reality. His private life unraveled, and the world finally saw that even golf's most disciplined man could slip. And just as the dust from his scandal finally settled, the sport faced a new kind of controversy, one that didn't involve affairs or late-night drama, but millions of dollars moving in silence. Number 14, Phil Mickelson, the $1.3 million tip-off. When golf's smiling golden boy starts moving money like a Wall Street shark, you know something's off. In 2012, Phil Mickelson quietly dumped $2.4 million into shares of Dean Foods, a random dairy company. Days later, the stock soared 41%. The timing, too perfect. The profit, a cool $1.3 million overnight. To most, it looked like luck, but to the FBI and SEC, it looked like insider trading. The connection that raised every eyebrow: a Las Vegas gambler named Billy Walters, a man with deep pockets and even deeper contacts. Walters had allegedly tipped Phil off just before the company's secret announcement. When investigators closed in, the story got murkier. Walters went to prison. Mickelson, he walked, paying back the money, labeled a relief defendant, skating just shy of formal charges. His image, however, didn't escape untouched. The man known for charm and high fives suddenly looked like he'd been playing the markets with the same reckless grin he flashed on the 18th green. Golf wasn't supposed to look like the Wolf of Wall Street, but that's exactly what this felt like. And if you thought this was the wildest rule bender on tour, wait until you meet the man who literally threw punches on the fairway. Number 13, John Daly, fists on the fairway. Golf clubs weren't the only thing swinging that day. It was 1994 at the World Series of Golf in Firestone, and John Daly, the sport's resident wildcard, was living up to his reputation. Frustrated, furious, ready to explode. Mid-round, Daly got into a shouting match, not with another pro, but with a player's father. Words flew, tempers flared, and before anyone could intervene, Daly's fist did the talking, right there on the course, in front of stunned players, caddies, and fans. A brawl on the fairway, something you'd expect at a hockey rink, not a PGA event. The aftermath hit just as hard. Daly withdrew from the tournament, then announced he was stepping away from golf entirely. Sponsors like Wilson and Reebok bailed overnight, torching millions in deals. The PGA called it a mutual decision, but everyone knew what it was: a suspension wrapped in PR spin. His career was suddenly in freefall, but oddly enough, his legend only grew. The bad boy of golf had just proven the nickname wasn't hype. It was a warning, and yet, compared to the next golfer's stunt, Daly's punch almost looked polite. Number 12, Patrick Reed, the walking scandal. 3 years, 3 lies, and every one of them caught on camera. Patrick Reed doesn't just play golf, he plays with golf. It started in 2019 at the Hero World Challenge. Reed's in a bunker, taking practice swings and brushing sand away from behind his ball. The cameras zoomed in, the internet exploded. 2-stroke penalty, Reed called it a bad camera angle. Fans called it what it was: cheating. Fast forward to 2021 at Torrey Pines. He picks up his ball before the official arrives, claiming it was embedded. Replay shows it bounced first, making that almost impossible. Still, he got the ruling his way. The crowd's reaction? Boos that could have shaken the clubhouse. Then came 2023, the wrong tree incident. Reed insists his ball landed in one tree, the only one that gave him a free drop. Problem, every fan with a smartphone could see it clearly landed in another. He swore, the officials nodded, and golf Twitter had a field day. At this point, Patrick Reed isn't a golfer with scandals. He is the scandal, or Captain Penalty, the man who turned bending rules into a sport of its own. And the next story proves, sometimes the biggest cheaters aren't even breaking the law. Number 11, Donald Trump, the alleged golf champion. He didn't just bend the rules, he owned the rule book. In 2025, 78-year-old Donald Trump declared himself the club champion at his own course in Palm Beach. A trophy, a speech, and a self-congratulatory post followed, like it was just another routine win. But the internet, it erupted, because this wasn't Trump's first victory. For years, stories from caddies, pros, and even sports analysts have painted a picture of golf's most notorious rule bender. Mulligans by the dozen, miraculous ball recoveries from water hazards, and wins in tournaments he sometimes didn't even play. Sports writer Rick Riley summed it up perfectly. To say Donald Trump cheats is like saying Michael Phelps swims. One of the most infamous tales came from a round with broadcaster Mike Tirico. Tirico hit a near-perfect shot to the green, until Trump's caddy quietly tossed the ball into a bunker. "I watched him do it," the caddy later confessed. It's almost poetic. A man so obsessed with winning that even par wasn't enough. In Trump's world, every hole ends with a handshake and a rewrite of history. But our next scandal proves you don't need power to play dirty, just one bad test. Number 10, Jane Blalock. The courtroom comeback golf's first lawsuit so big it changed the LPGA forever. In 1972, Jane Blalock wasn't just a rising star, she was the star, Rookie of the Year, multiple wins, and a streak of 299 consecutive cuts. Then, with no warning, she was accused of improperly marking her ball and failing to add a two-stroke penalty. No hearing, no proof, just a panel of fellow players declaring her guilty. The punishment, a 1-year suspension. Essentially career death in the middle of her prime. But Jane didn't fold. She lawyered up and hit back with a $5 million antitrust lawsuit against the LPGA itself, accusing them of running a biased, self-policing kangaroo court. The trial was explosive. In 1973, a federal judge sided with Blalock, calling the LPGA's actions ill-founded. The verdict forced the league to completely restructure, appointing its first ever commissioner and rewriting how disciplinary rules were handled. Jane kept winning on the course, but the LPGA never forgave her rebellion. Despite 27 victories, a Hall of Fame career by any measure, she's still not inducted. She may not have a plaque on the wall, but she left something far bigger, a legal scar that redefined women's golf. And the next scandal, it exposed an even uglier double standard. Number 9, Michelle Wie, the double standard too good for her age, too provocative for the LPGA. At just 16, Michelle Wie wasn't just a prodigy. She was a phenomenon. She was driving the ball farther than most men, making cuts in PGA events, and being hailed as golf's next global icon. But instead of celebrating her talent, the headlines turned on her. Not for her game, but for her clothes. Commentators criticized her sleeveless tops and skirts. Officials whispered about enforcing stricter dress codes. One pundit even said she looked ready for a nightclub, not a golf course. Meanwhile, male players strutted in wild patterns and unbuttoned polos, and no one blinked. Then came 2005, her first professional event, the Samsung World Championship. A technical ruling on a drop placed her ball just inches too close to the hole. Disqualified. Her first paycheck, gone. The same media that once called her a prodigy now labeled her reckless and immature. Through it all, Michelle stayed calm, smiling through the noise. But the message was loud and clear. When a woman in golf shows power and confidence, it's not style. It's a scandal, and the next golfer proved that same double standard could ignite a civil war inside the LPGA itself. Number 8, Natalie Gulbis, the calendar war. One swimsuit calendar nearly blew up the LPGA. In 2004, Natalie Gulbis wasn't breaking rules. She was breaking expectations. While most golfers promoted equipment or soft drinks, Gulbis released something no one saw coming. Her own swimsuit calendar, sun, sand, bikinis, and a confident smile that sent golf's conservative establishment into meltdown. The LPGA reportedly tried to block her from selling it at tournaments. Sponsors panicked. Critics called her a distraction, and suddenly Gulbis wasn't being discussed for her putting stats, but for her skin. Traditionalists said she was cheapening the sport. Fans argued she was modernizing it. Gulbis, meanwhile, stood firm. No apologies, no retreat. She doubled down with magazine covers, TV appearances, and interviews that made it clear she wasn't going to hide who she was to make others comfortable. The controversy exposed a brutal divide inside women's golf. Those who wanted to protect its image and those ready to own it. Natalie's calendar wasn't just about photos, it was about control. Because in golf, showing confidence can make you a star, but showing skin? That makes you a scandal. And the next scandal took crossing the line to a whole new level, literally. Number 7. Simon Dyson, the spike mark scandal. One tiny press on the green, and his career nearly collapsed. It was October 2013, the BMW Masters in Shanghai. English pro Simon Dyson was lining up a simple putt until one small move changed everything. With the calmness of routine, Dyson used his ball to press down what looked like a small bump on the green, right in his putting line. Harmless, not in golf. At first, nobody noticed. No players, no officials. Not even Dyson himself seemed to think twice. But TV cameras did. Slow motion replay revealed the act in crystal clarity. A clear violation of Rule 16-A, you do not touch the line of your putt. Viewers flooded the tour hotline. The penalty was automatic, 2 strokes, but Dyson's nightmare got worse when he failed to include it on his scorecard. That mistake alone meant disqualification. The European Tour launched a full disciplinary hearing, calling it a serious breach of conduct. The verdict, a £30,000 fine and a suspended 2-month ban, all for a momentary flick of the wrist that looks suspiciously deliberate. One press, one penalty, one career forever shadowed by suspicion. And if you thought that was a harsh punishment, the next golfer's shortcut made this look like a warning tap. Number 6. Rory Sabatini, passport to silver. When you can't make Team A, just build Team B. In 2020, golf fans were stunned when Rory Sabatini, born and raised in South Africa, suddenly showed up at the Tokyo Olympics, wearing Slovakia's colors. No deep family ties, no lifelong connection, just a brand new passport and a fast-tracked citizenship process that raised every eyebrow in the sport. Officially, Sabatini said it was to grow the game in his wife's home country. Unofficially, it looked like the ultimate Olympic loophole. South Africa's team was stacked, Slovakia's completely open. And just like that, a door appeared where none had existed. The golf world didn't know whether to applaud or cringe. Was it strategic genius or pure exploitation? Social media dubbed him the flag hopper, and memes practically wrote themselves. Then came the twist. Against all odds, he didn't just qualify, he won silver. Suddenly, the man accused of gaming the system was standing on the podium, Slovakia's anthem playing, as golf Twitter melted down. What do you even call that? Cheating, opportunism, or simply playing the game better than anyone else? Either way, Rory proved one thing. In modern golf, the rulebook is just a suggestion, and the next player, he didn't bend the rules, he sued them. Number 5. Dave Hill, the $1 Million Rebel. He broke clubs, then broke the PGA with a lawsuit. In the 1960s and 70s, Dave Hill was golf's original rebel. Long before bad boys became marketable, he had the swing, the swagger, and a temper hotter than an Arizona green. When something didn't go his way, clubs flew, words followed, and the PGA braced for another explosion. Hill's list of offenses was legendary. Smashing clubs mid-round, mouthing off to officials, even mocking courses he thought were unfit for cattle. That last jab got him suspended for a week. His response? File a $3 million antitrust lawsuit against the PGA Tour, claiming they were monopolizing the game and punishing individuality. It was a bold, middle finger move, and for a while, it worked. The case exposed cracks in how the PGA disciplined players, forcing the tour to modernize its structure. But Hill paid the price. Sponsors distanced themselves, peers rolled their eyes, and his reputation became half outlaw, half folk hero. Still, Hill never apologized. When asked about the controversy, he simply said they needed shaking up. And shake it he did, proving golf wasn't all handshakes and etiquette. Because the next scandal didn't just challenge golf's image, it shattered its sense of decency. Number 4. Paige Spiranac. From star to scapegoat, social media made her famous. Golf made her an outcast. When Paige Spiranac burst onto the scene in 2015, she was everything golf wasn't. Young, unapologetic, and viral. Her swing was solid, her smile magnetic, and her Instagram following exploded overnight. Then came an invite to the Dubai Ladies Masters, a huge honor for a newcomer, but instead of celebration, she got hate. Peers whispered that she didn't earn it. Commentators mocked her for selling sex, not skill. And online, it was brutal. Thousands of messages attacking her looks, her clothes, even her legitimacy as an athlete. The same sport that worshipped its polished legends turned on her for being too modern, too visible, too herself. Paige played through tears that week, missing the cut, then breaking down in a press conference that went viral for all the wrong reasons. She later admitted the bullying nearly pushed her out of golf completely. But here's the twist. The sport that rejected her made her bigger than ever. Paige reinvented herself as a voice for women's equality and body confidence, proving you don't need a trophy to have impact. She walked away from the country club and built her own empire. But the next scandal, it didn't just divide fans, it divided the entire sport. Number 3. Fuzzy Zoeller, the fried chicken comment a Masters champion's 30-second joke that cost him everything. It was 1997, the year Tiger Woods won his first Masters by a historic 12 strokes. The world watched in awe as a 21-year-old black golfer shattered every barrier on Augusta's hallowed and very white grounds. Then during a post-tournament interview, fellow champion Fuzzy Zoeller decided to lighten the mood. Smiling to reporters, he joked that Tiger shouldn't serve fried chicken or collard greens at next year's champions dinner. A line meant to get laughs. Instead, it sent shockwaves through sports and beyond. Within days, sponsors fled. Kmart, Dunlop, and others cut ties overnight. Zoeller tried to apologize, claiming it was all in jest, but the damage was irreversible. For many, it wasn't about one bad joke. It was a mirror held up to golf's country club culture, where exclusion had always been the unspoken rule. Tiger never publicly retaliated. He didn't need to. His silence spoke louder than any press release. In under a minute, Fuzzy Zoeller went from Masters hero to symbol of everything golf was trying to leave behind. And that tension, old guard versus new era, would explode again when money, politics, and power collided in our next story. Number 2. The LIV Golf Exodus. When half the PGA walked out for Saudi money, it started with whispers. An upstart league backed by billions from Saudi Arabia's public investment fund. Fewer events, bigger paychecks, private jets, and no cuts. For some, it sounded like a dream. For others, a sellout. Then one by one, the dominoes fell. Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau. The PGA's biggest stars defected to the newly formed LIV Golf. And the sport exploded. The PGA called it betrayal. The media called it blood money. Players were banned overnight, stripped of rankings, and threatened with lifetime suspensions. Mickelson's reputation went from lefty legend to Saudi spokesman in a matter of days. Lawsuits followed, fans chose sides, and for the first time in golf history, money, not merit, became the leaderboard. The tension wasn't just financial, it was moral. Could golf, the gentleman's game, survive being bought? LIV promised freedom and innovation. The PGA clung to heritage and honor. Both claimed to be saving the sport. The split tore friendships, fractured fan bases, and redrew golf's map forever. Because in the end, this wasn't just a league war, it was a revolution, one still unfolding today. And our number 1 story, utter disrespect. Number 1. Sergio García, the spit herd. Round the world hook, some players lose their temper. Sergio García lost his taste. It was the 2002 Buick Classic. Humid day, tense round, and Sergio García grinding through another slow start. Then came the moment that froze cameras and disgusted millions. After missing a putt, García casually leaned over and spit into the cup. On live television, golf fans, known for forgiving missed shots and even meltdowns, were furious. Commentators replayed the clip on loop. One of the sport's brightest young stars had just turned the symbol of sportsmanship, the cup, into a personal trash can. García apologized, blaming frustration and heat of the moment, but the damage was done. Sponsors flinched, rivals whispered, and the polite golf establishment labeled him immature and disrespectful. It wasn't a crime, but it was sacrilege in a game built on quiet dignity. That spit became a stain, literally and figuratively, on his career, because golf, more than any sport, remembers manners longer than victories. And in that one impulsive moment, Sergio García proved that reputation can vanish faster than a missed tap-in. Golf's history proves one thing: Beneath the calm greens, chaos always lurks. Which of these scandals shocked you most, or did we miss a wild one you still remember? Drop your take below. We read them all. And if you love untold stories like this, subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive.